Hey guys, I'm Lisa.
I'm Samantha.
Welcome to X-UMED.
So tonight's episode is on the infamous Anne Boleyn, and people know her only through King Henry VIII.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if it wasn't for her, I bet King Henry VIII wouldn't be a king in history that people would really look at.
Okay.
She changed a lot of shit. All right, so in order to talk about Anne Boleyn, we have to go back to the beginning and talk about who she married and the family that she married into and why. It starts with King Henry VII, which is King Henry VIII's dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was the very first of the Tudor dynasty after the War of the Roses. It was essentially just two families for I don't even know how long, 100 years, maybe 200 years, fighting over the throne. He married his wife after he won and just put the two families together. So there would be no battle anymore between the families for the throne because both families thought that they deserved the throne.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the bloodlines and families and everyone, all the families marrying into each other.
And if you broke that down and explained it, everyone would be confused as hell.
Way too confused.
I am when you try to explain it. My eyes glaze over, like I stop listening to you after a while.
Yeah, most people do, especially with this being my favorite topic. I'm trying not to go too deep into it. All right, so King Henry VII had 5 children that survived past infancy. Arthur being the first one, he was supposed to be the heir to the throne. And then there was Mary, Margaret, Henry. I feel like there was one more, but maybe they only survived a year or two. So his brother, Prince Arthur, who's Prince of Wales, heir to the throne of England. He was born in 1486. When he was 15 years old, he married Catherine of Aragon. She was from a Spanish region. Both of her parents they reigned in their own right. One reigned one country, another reigned the other. They married each other. They were separate rules, but still one family. A little confusing. But she was born to be a ruler. She was smart as hell. There wasn't very many people, especially women, who were actually educated and educated for diplomacy as well. Like reading and writing were not heard of, especially for females. So when Arthur is 15 years old, him and Catherine marry. It was very short-lived. They both got the sweating sickness. She survived, he died. They were married for less than 1 year.
Did you ever find out what the sweating sickness actually was?
Yes, because I knew you were going to ask that. The exact cause of the sweating sickness remains unknown. Theories include viral infection or bacterial infections.
Okay, it just sounds like the flu to me.
The sweating sickness was a significant event in English history, and it's a medical mystery. It caused widespread fear and panic and contributed to the decline of the Tudor dynasty. This disease also highlighted the limitations of medical knowledge at the time and the importance of sanitation and hygiene. The disease first appeared in England in 1485 and spread rapidly throughout the country. There were outbreaks in 1508. The last one was in 1551.
And then it just went away?
Yeah. The disease primarily affected young, healthy adults, mostly men. You pretty much, once you get it, you die in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and I was thinking that was from dehydration because they call it the sweating sickness, you know?
You sweated profusely. That was pretty much it. And then it was gone. Well, back to Arthur. Him and Catherine were only married for, I'm not sure the actual dates, 6 to 8 months, I want to say. Do you think they ever had sex? They're 15 years old in the 1500s.
No.
Especially with how sick he always was, and there is rumors that he had testicular cancer.
At 15?
Who knows?
Yeah, no, I don't think they ever had sex. I don't think at that age they knew how to.
I also feel like from the beginning of time, men knew what to do with it. Like, we'll figure this out.
True. Yeah. As soon as they discover it, they know what to do with it.
Well, Henry VII, current king of England at the time, just lost his heir to the throne, Arthur. He did not want to give the dowry back to Spain. So he's telling, I think it's Ferdinand, Catherine's dad, Ferdinand, king of Spain, well, I've got this other son that she can marry, Henry, who would be Henry VIII.
Okay.
He was 9 years old at the time, and she was 15.
Might not have been gross back then, but it's gross now.
Well, he wasn't of age to marry, So she had to wait. I want to say it was between 8 and 10 years that she had to wait. She was supposed to be queen, but she's kind of in this limbo. Like, she can no longer now go back to Spain because her family no longer owns her because she was married to be queen and she was a widow now.
Mm-hmm.
So she's hanging out, doing what she can, and they made her a diplomat, or no, an ambassador to Spain. And she was the very first ambassador in a European country as a woman.
Was Catherine of Aragon?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's smart as hell and a badass. She is known to be like the most Catholic queen in European history. Her dad is nicknamed Ferdinand the Catholic.
Wow.
All right, so while she's in limbo, talk about Prince Henry. He was born June 28th, 1491, as Prince Henry Tudor, the Duke of York. He was the third of 5 children to survive infancy, but he was never raised or taught to be a king. That was his brother's job.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have the proper education. And then once Arthur died, his family like locked Henry away. Like, okay, you need to learn how to be a king. And we also need to protect you because you are the last male child we have to continue this dynasty.
Wow.
So he was pretty much kind of put in a bubble. Well, when Arthur died, Henry VII petitioned the Pope, it was Pope Alexander VI, to allow Catherine and Henry to marry, under the grounds of they were never actually married because they never consummated their marriage. And in canon law, as soon as you get married, you are now the sibling to everyone in the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't do like in-laws. You were just part of the family then.
So that was the problem for a while, why they had to petition the Pope. And the Pope ended up granting it. Well, in 1509, Henry VII dies. Prince Henry was now crowned as King Henry VIII, and he declared that he was going to wed Catherine of Aragon, who I think at this time, he was 17 or 18, and she was around 25. So she's waiting to get married. She has been in England for about 10 years. She's ready. She's ready to be the queen.
Mm-hmm.
They had a very happy marriage. They loved and respected each other greatly. Like when Henry went to campaign in France in the war of, I think it was like 1513, he even appointed Catherine as regent, which regent means she is the ruler while he is away. Like, he trusted her that much. She was a badass.
Yeah.
Well, she got pregnant 6 times total. She is a very fertile woman, and this is before she's even 30 years old. So that's 6 pregnancies in roughly 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, only 1 pregnancy took.
Aww.
And we will later know her as Queen Mary I of England, or aka Bloody Mary. There was probably 3 to 4 miscarriages, male miscarriages, in those pregnancies. Like one, I want to say one of them lived to be about 20 days old, another a couple of hours.
Aww.
It was devastating. And Henry was so supportive in it too. Like, okay, I love you. We'll get through this.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Because he needed a son.
Yeah. In order to keep on the Tudor dynasty. And to talk about how much of a badass she was, like when he was in France in his own war, she was the ruler in England at that time. So when he's away, the Scottish Empire starts to come in and piss off Catherine. It's like, well, your husband's away. We're going to take your territory.
And she was like, no, you're not.
I think she was 6 to 8 months pregnant, and the armor was made for her new body to fit her pregnant body. And I think like 1,000 English soldiers died, and she slaughtered 10,000. And then she sends the king's bloody jacket to Henry in France, like, hey, honey, look what I did. He's like, what the fuck? Okay, I love you, but...
And wasn't Henry losing his battle?
He was losing his battle.
It's like, so how's your battle going? He's like, shut up, woman.
Probably. Like, just fucking, I need you to have my son. Well, after... she lost that son. It could have been contributed to the battle. Who knows? But she lost that son. In the meantime, Henry is kind of a playboy. He's got mistresses up the ass. But at the same time, he is very romantic and dedicated. It was known, especially for kings, that you were to take a mistress while your wife is pregnant. Because there's no sex. Usually they hide the women away while they're pregnant. So no bacteria, nothing can come to them and get them sick when that's
and
usually...
here's Catherine, 6 to 8 months pregnant on the battlefield slaughtering people.
Well, one of his long-term mistresses, Lady Blount, had a son. They named him Henry Fitzroy, and Henry VIII gave him titles, gave them land. He was trying to figure out how to make that son king, just in case he doesn't have a son of his own, with Catherine of Aragon.
Okay, so he was like an illegitimate child, so he couldn't rightfully make him king, but he was trying to find a way around that.
He was trying to figure something out. So it's probably roughly 18 years, maybe 15 that they're married, and they still only have one child, Mary. He still needs a son.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's reading the Bible more, and he sees in Leviticus that in canon law states you cannot marry your brother's wife. It states if you marry your brother's wife, then you are to be childless.
Mm-hmm.
He takes that to the Pope, and everyone's sitting back wondering, it's like, well, did you forget about Mary? You have a living child. Well, females can't rule. She doesn't count. Females don't count at that time.
Wow.
So poor Catherine.
Yeah.
Enter Anne Boleyn. So Anne Boleyn was born 1501 to 1507. We don't actually know when she was born because, again, females, they're not going to keep record of that. She had one brother and one sister that survived infancy, George and Mary. She is the mother of the arguably most famous queen in English history, Queen Elizabeth I. And then there's, of course, Queen Elizabeth II, the other most famous, and they reigned in their own right. Her father is Thomas Boleyn. He was very respected royal, but her mother was even more respected. She was from the Howard family, and the Howards are, it's so hard to explain, Duke of Norfolk. It's a very specific title, and they're one of the oldest family and most powerful families in England. So if you're a Howard, you are a Norfolk, and you kind of don't screw around with them. Same with, like, I think the Duke of Buckingham as well.
Okay.
So, of course, her dad, Thomas, who is kind of an asshole, hitches his wagon to one of the most powerful females in the country outside of the queen. Has kids, and it's a little foreshadowing to what he does later in life. Anne Boleyn spent most of her time at Hever Castle, which is in Hever, Kent, and it still stands today. She was born in what they believe is Blicking Castle. It is the home of the Howard family, and it's not too far away, so they believe she was born there. She spent 7 years in France after about a year in Austria. She was a lady in waiting to King Henry VIII's sister, Mary, who was Queen of France at that time. So his sister married the King of France, and she became queen.
Mm-hmm.
While Anne was there, she learned French fashion and education, and that made her stand out in the English court. Like, there weren't many people that, especially females, that really learned how to read and write again and just was educated in general. I think 1% of females at that time were educated. She learned song and dance. She played musical instruments, read, spoke multiple languages. She introduced French fashion into England. She did archery, hunting, horseback riding, and falconry, which I learned what falconry is, kind of.
And it's just birds, right? She's just like training falcons?
Yeah, I think the falcons go out and like find the prey for you to hunt. I'm still not 100% sure on that, but
Still a cool thing for a woman to know back then. Be a cool thing for a woman to know now. I want a falcon.
yeah, it says falconry involves training birds of prey to hunt wild game in their natural habitat. I just still don't get it. All right, so Anne Boleyn was smart as hell. She's known to be very attractive, but yet there's other accounts where she's not at all.
It's hard to pin down exactly what she looked like because I guess there aren't any pictures of her left.
We'll get to that.
Mhm.
Henry was kind of a dick.
That's why I didn't want to say anything, is because I knew we were going to get to it.
She was also feisty as shit, too. That's also why Henry fell in love with her. Well, her first encounter with King Henry VIII may have been in 1522 during a mask play. I think the part that she played was Perseverance, and it had something to do with, I actually don't know the word, like the females in the role were like perseverance, love, while the men were like greed and envy. Something
Okay.
biblical.
No, I get what you're saying. There's a movie that came out a while ago called Collateral Beauty, where like someone played time, another person played love, another person played death. It's basically the same idea.
Okay. Well, apparently that's when they met, and Henry fell in love with her quickly. Like, she's young, she can have kids. She was smart as hell, attractive, challenged Henry, and she sat back and was like, no, screw you. I really don't want anything to do with you. I will not be your mistress. I'm going to give my virginity to my husband. So Henry is begging her to be her mistress, his mistress. He is writing her love letters. And one of the love letters states that I miss your duckies.
What?
Boobs were called duckies.
That's so cute.
At least a nickname.
Okay.
And he would sign these letters at the bottom, like your loyal servant. And he would put like an H and an A together in a heart, and that would be his signature.
Oh.
He was very romantic, but he was obsessed with her. And she kept sending these letters back. Like, no, like you are married. 2, I am going to give my virginity to my husband.
Wait a minute. He was sending her letters saying, I miss your boobs. And they hadn't been like together in that way yet. So what did he mean by that? Like, I miss looking at your boobs?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Hey, what else did they really have to talk about and do?
Duckies.
Well, 17 of these letters still exist in the Vatican. I would love to be able to see them.
Me too, now that I know that they talked the way that they did.
But he wrote these letters in his own hand, and that was unheard of. Usually he just has one of his servants write the letters for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after some time, she finally gives in. She states that, okay, well, in order for me to be your mistress, I have to be your wife. And remember, going back to the Leviticus and the canon law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You marry your brother's wife, you are without child. He takes this up in every way that he can. She starts coming to court more. She starts getting involved. And Catherine's pissed. Like, Anne Boleyn is in the court of King Henry VIII at that time, and she is a lady in waiting. She is a servant to Catherine of Aragon.
And she knows that her husband wants to be with her.
Yeah. But he kept saying that, no, Anne is not my mistress because we are not sleeping together while we are still married.
But you still had intentions.
Yeah.
You know, like, she knew damn well that Henry was trying to find a way to divorce her.
But in every account that people state that she was with him at all times. They went hunting together. They went to different countries together, different parts of the land. And if you did not know better, you would think that Anne was the queen. She was giving royal apartments. She was giving statuses. I think she was like Marquise of Pembroke. Don't come after me, people. I didn't look that one up. But she was given so many titles to elevate her status so she could have power, so she could be honored in some way. You remember me telling you how smart Anne Boleyn is?
Mm-hmm.
She starts thinking of ways. Like, okay, how do we make this happen? Like, they are dating for 7 years at this time while he's trying to get a divorce from Catherine, or at least an annulment. So she gives Henry a copy of William Tyndale's book, Obedience of a Christian Man. The book argued that the supreme authority was not held by the Pope, but by the words of God enshrined in the Bible, meaning the king in their own realm is also the Pope in their realm. The book states that in the Bible, there is no Pope. The Bible does not speak of the Pope at all, and the king stands next to God.
This was Anne's idea? Wow.
So Henry gets this idea. It's like, this is a book for me. This is a book for all kings. Like, why is the Pope telling me what to do when there is no Pope in the Bible? I rule in my own right. I am the God in my own kingdom. The only person I have to answer to is God himself. So he splits with the Catholic Church, and he gets excommunicated by the Pope as well. And he creates the Church of England. Imagine like being so in love with a woman and being so desperate to have a male child that you make your own church.
Wow.
Like, the Church of England is still stands today. That is currently the Church of England is the Church of England in England.
Mm-hmm.
So if it wasn't for him wanting to marry Anne Boleyn, that may not be a thing right now.
But what happened to Catherine?
Well, Catherine's a badass. They had multiple court hearings on it. She goes in. It's like, okay, well, we need to have a hearing. They go in, they have the court hearing, and when she says the things that she wants to say, she goes over to Henry, drops down on her knees, and begs, like, I am your true wife. And then she walks out and never returns. She's like, I never knew a touch of a man other than you. Your brother was so sick. We never consummated the marriage. We are true husband and wife under God. And she fucking leaves and never comes back.
So basically, she's like, okay, you can go ahead and divorce me and marry Anne, but I'm still your true wife in God's eyes.
I am the Queen of England until I die.
Wow.
So he creates the Church of England, and she's still hanging around for a little bit. He ends up kicking out Catherine.
And this is only because she can't give him a son.
So I can't remember what it's called. Everyone had to take an oath. So they changed the religion from Catholic to Protestant because Anne Boleyn was Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to take an oath of, I will follow the Church of England. I will turn to Protestant. Like, Anne Boleyn is the Queen of England, not Catherine. And that was a big thing for a lot of people. If you did not sign the oath, then it was heresy. No, not heresy. You were put to death for treason.
Holy
I
shit.
think it was called a heretic. I'm not sure. Henry tells Catherine and his daughter Mary, sign the oath. Like, accept the annulment, become a nun. I will grant you houses. You will have money. Like, you'll be taken care of. Both of them refuse to do it because they are extreme Catholic, and Catherine of Aragon is the Queen of England.
Uh-huh.
And they believe that. He sends Catherine away. She ended up just staying to one room for as long as she lived and then went to Mass. He separated Catherine and Mary, though. They never saw each other again, and it was, I want to say, 6 years.
Her own daughter? She wasn't allowed to see her own daughter.
Because everyone respected her so much, and same with other countries, as her being the true Queen of England, and she is the perfect queen in every way. They were worried that they were going to create a war. If they had contact with each other and they had contact to the outside world, then they would create an army and go after Henry. I mean, fair. Not really, but fair, I guess. I can see where he's coming from. Doesn't make it right.
No, sucked to live back in those times.
Well, Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII marry. They secretly married in late 1532, and it was announced in 1533. But in September of 1533, Anne Boleyn gives birth. So they had sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Let's do the math there. And guess what Anne Boleyn had?
A girl.
Elizabeth.
Hmm.
And they believed so much that it was going to be a male. Like, astrologers said that it was going to be a male. Like, she had a hankering for apples. And apparently at that time, when you're pregnant and you want apples, then you're going to have a male.
I never heard of that.
Everything was announced that they were going to have a prince. Oh, shit. Here comes Elizabeth. They actually had to write in 2 S's on all the announcements.
2 S's?
For princess instead of prince. So Henry's reaction is, we're still young, sons will follow. She had 2 male miscarriages. And she is scared to hell at this time.
I'm sure.
One of the miscarriages happened at a very inconvenient time. It was on the burial on the same day that Catherine of Aragon died. They were burying her and she had a miscarriage.
Wow.
Like, come on. And it was supposed to be a male. She was far along enough that they knew that it was going to be a male. But come on. That is some shit from Catherine of Aragon, deep from the grave.
So fucked up. Wow.
When Catherine died, she had a black heart. She was only 50 years old. It was probably heart disease. But what's kind of irritating about it is the day that happened, Anne Boleyn wore yellow.
What does that symbolize?
Well, purple symbolizes royalty. Only royalty wears purple. You're supposed to wear black for, I think, 3 months after a death. But yellow, she claimed that yellow was honoring Spain because Catherine was Spanish. But they also saw that as more of a celebration because now that Catherine has died, Anne Boleyn is now the true Queen of England. There is no controversy. Catherine's gone. And then she miscarriages a male.
Wow.
Same day. And this was kind of it for Henry. They had been married for 3 years, and he's looking elsewhere now. During one of the miscarriages, he was caught canoodling with another woman, Jane Seymour, and Anne went into a complete rage.
What exactly does canoodling mean in this context?
They were embracing each other, like maybe she was sitting on his lap, maybe they were kissing. I'm not sure.
Okay, so they were up to something.
Something was going on, and Anne caught that in action. The rage that she went into scared Henry. She was throwing shit. Like,
I would too.
She's a feisty woman. And then now that they're married and she's queen, he wants her to be conformed to being a queen. And you sit back and this is what I do.
Oh, hell no.
This is king. I'm a king. This is my right. Because they also thought that if a male didn't ejaculate once a day or once a week, then they were going to explode. That was their medical science. But I'm king. Of course I can have affairs. All right. So Anne was arrested in 1536. They were only married for 3 years.
Why was she arrested?
On accounts of adultery, incest, and treason.
Okay. I feel like she was framed.
She absolutely was.
Because it doesn't sound like she did anything wrong. She just got pissed off at her husband for messing around on her.
Well, she's not having a male child yet, which she promised because, women can control that. She has not fulfilled her duties.
Yeah, she broke her promise.
They claim that she might have slept with up to 100 men. There was one man in particular that was arrested, Mark Smeaton. He was her musician. They tortured him, probably put him on the rack. And of course, when you're tortured to that extent, you're going to say whatever the hell you want, whatever you need them to believe, whatever they're trying to get out of you to stop the torture. He's like, yes, I slept with the queen. And here is a list of men who did as well. And one of them included her brother.
Wow.
Well, her and her brother George were very close siblings. They had a very healthy relationship. Their dad brought them upright, even though, their dad put Anne and his other daughter, Mary, in front of the king. Henry had slept with her sister, Mary. She was known as the Great Prostitute. And then when that wasn't going his way, Thomas Boleyn put Anne in front of him. It's like, well, I want to reach a higher statue. We need stability in our family.
He used his kids to do that.
Raise his own status.
But otherwise, aside from that, he raised them right.
He was a good dad for the most part. I'm pretty sure that he actually raised his kids alone for quite a while. One of the charges was also that she was a witch.
Well, of course.
And naturally.
Got to throw that in there.
That she bewitched the king into marrying her under deception that she will give him a male child.
Amazing what people believed back then.
It is. She was held at the Tower of London in the same apartments 3 years prior she stayed for her coronation. So it's excellent suites. There's multiple rooms. Kind of like a hotel. I believe that apartment had 4 rooms and she had 10 servants.
While she was under arrest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not too bad, but you're still wondering out of nowhere, why am I here?
Exactly. And why? What kind of proof did they bring forward that she was a witch?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Well, her brother was beheaded, as well as many other men. I think it was 4 or 5 men total. They were tried with treason, and treason for a male at that time was
hung, drawn, and quartered.
Yes.
Is it?
Where you're hung until you're partly dead, and then you are cut down, and then you are drugged to your final place, where they cut your body into fourths, they cut your stomach open, and burn your intestines in front of you. And then your head is put on Tower Bridge or London Bridge. I think London Bridge. For a woman, it was burning. Henry ended up changing from burning to beheading. No one thought that any of this was even going to go through. No queen in history has ever been executed until Anne. He commuted her sentence once again. Instead of having a regular axeman, he hired in a professional from France to do it in one swipe. The execution was supposed to take place on a specific day. It took place the following day. As the executioner was delayed, I think his horse hurt its ankle or something. The day of the execution comes, and she's like, oh, well, I heard that the executioner was very good, yet I have just a little neck. And she was laughing about it. At this point, she was done. She wanted her life to be over. She was ready. On May 19th, 1536, she was beheaded at Tower Green. She was walked down from the Traitor's Gate to Tower Green, and she was constantly looking everywhere, all around her, while she was giving out alms to the poor, which it's a charitable thing that the queens did, and you go through and give money to the poor while you're walking through. They would even sometimes wash the poor's feet. So the reason why she was looking everywhere was they thought that a messenger was going to come and Henry was going to change his mind. Like, nothing like this has ever happened before. They truly believed that she was not going to die. When she got up to the scaffold, same thing, kept looking around everywhere.
Oh, God.
And no one was prepared for this. It was supposed to be a private event of about 100 people, and the doors to the tower were left open. So I think 2,000 people showed up.
Wow.
Oh, her last words were, "Good Christian people, I come hither to die, for according to the law, and by the law I am judged to die, and therefore I will speak nothing against it. I am come hither to accuse no man, nor to speak anything of that, whereof I am accused and condemned to die. But I pray, save the king, and send him long reign over you. For a gentler nor a more merciful prince was there never, and to me he was ever a good and gentle and sovereign lord. And if any person will meddle of my case, I require them to judge the best. And thus I take my leave of the world and all of you. And I heartily desire you to all to pray for me. O Lord, have mercy. To God I condemn my soul." And then she continued to say to Christ, "I condemn my soul, Lord Jesus, receive my soul." At this point, everyone is standing back like, shit, she is innocent.
Because she didn't confess.
They believe that when you die, you confess your sins because you meet your maker that second.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't confess.
No, she talked gratefully on the king.
Uh-huh.
And what she meant by, if anyone were to look into my case in the future, I hope that you can see that I am innocent, but love your king. He was a great king. He did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that at that point, when she said her last words, everyone ended up kneeling down. Like, they took off their hats and they realized something wrong is happening. She's innocent. Let's give her some respect.
Yeah.
After being blindfolded and kneeling at the block, she repeated several times, "To Jesus Christ I commend my soul. Lord Jesus, receive my soul." The expert swordsman looked in one direction, said something along the lines of, "Boy, fetch my sword," which would make her look one way, and then it was one clean swipe.
Mm-hmm. I saw something on that, little video on it. I don't know if he says, "Boy, fetch my sword," or the video I watched said that he just said, "Where's my sword?" But however you look at it, he was just trying to make it so that she didn't see it coming.
Yeah, and that was common for any swordsman or axeman during executions. And it said that she sat there on her knees and just waited for it to happen. She didn't flinch. She didn't do anything.
Wow.
Her lady in waiting were the ones who took her head and moved her body. And like, they didn't even have a coffin ready. No one thought that this was going to happen. They ended up putting her body in a, what the hell is it called? An arrow box.
An arrow box. Like a box where you keep your bow and arrow? Okay.
Like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
Hours later, she was buried in an unmarked grave at Chapel of St. Peter ad Vincella at the Tower of London. Her skeleton was identified during renovations of the chapel in 1876 during the reign of Queen Victoria. She was then re-entered into another grave in 1877. Her grave is now clearly marked, but it is possible her bones could have been bones of Henry VIII's fifth wife, Catherine Howard, as they were buried together and they were both executed. Do you remember the name Howard in connection of Norfolk family?
Yes. Yeah. Anne Boleyn's related to him.
Yeah, first or second cousins. I believe first cousins. So
Wow.
Henry married, years later, her first cousin. I think she was only 15 when they married, too.
And why was she executed? Because she wouldn't give him a son either?
She was a whore.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's actual proof on that she slept around and she wasn't even a virgin when she married.
Okay, the thing that pisses me off about this is I get that Henry needed a son, but he loved Catherine. He screwed her over just because he couldn't get a son from her. Then Anne Boleyn could not give him a son. So he concocts this whole thing that she cheated on him with multiple people and was a witch and all this shit just to get, I mean, come on. He couldn't just divorce her and move on like he did with Catherine. He had to execute her. He had to claim that she did all this shit and execute her.
Can't fully remember what it was, but she did agree to the annulment. Anne did.
Huh?
She was still going to be executed, though. She did not want an annulment at all because she was worried that her daughter Elizabeth would become a bastard. She did become a bastard. She was worried that she was never going to be in the line of throne and at one point in time be the Queen of England. Everything she did was for Elizabeth. To the point, like, when she walked up to the scaffold, she had, I think it's called the Book of Hours, which is a prayer book that she gave to one of her ladies in waiting. It was actually found out about 3 years ago that this book still exists. And it was it was passed around in Anne Boleyn's family on all the females to later be given to her daughter Elizabeth as part of, like, this was mine. Like, I want my daughter to have this in time.
And where is it now?
I don't remember. It still exists. It's around. Well, after she was executed, Henry removed everything of Anne Boleyn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were carvings on the walls of H and A. He had everything. It was like she never existed.
Yeah, I do know that he burned all her pictures, all her portraits. That's why it's hard to find out exactly what she looked like anymore, because he had everything burned. I think the only thing that there is depicting her is like someone who drew her from memory.
Yeah, so when Elizabeth became queen, I believe it was the artist Hans Holbein recreated a lot of the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And Elizabeth was so proud that she was the daughter of Anne Boleyn and King Henry VIII. At her coronation, she even had a statue made of Anne Boleyn, so she would be there for her own coronation.
Aww.
But not everything was erased. And I think it's Hampton Court Palace. You can go there and still see a couple of the etchings and carvings, H and A, that never got destroyed.
They like carve their initials in the wall like people do on trees.
In the walls, in the ceiling, everywhere.
That's kind of cute.
Well, okay, so wrapping up with that, 11 days later, after she was executed, Henry married Jane Seymour, which was the woman that he was canoodling with.
Mm-hmm.
She had a male child who became King Edward. When Edward died, it was a very short reign. Mary I became queen. So Catherine's child became queen. She was only queen for 5 years. And then Anne Boleyn's daughter, Elizabeth, was Queen Elizabeth I. And I want to say she reigned for 40 years. She died in her late 60s. She's called the Virgin Queen. She never married. She decided that England will be my husband, that England will only have one mistress, because if she were to be married, then she can no longer rule in her own right. She would then be the property of a man, and then the man will have higher statute than her.
Mm-hmm. And she was like, screw that.
All right, so we are going to get to the hauntings of Anne Boleyn. Apparently, she was born in Blickling Hall. The story goes that Anne's ghost rides up to Blickling Hall in a coach driven by a headless horseman on the night of her death anniversary. She is dressed in white and carrying her own severed head.
Sounds like the Headless Horseman.
Now we've got the Tower of London, where she was executed. Anne's ghost is said to haunt the site of her execution on Tower Green. A captain of the guard claimed to see a procession of knights and ladies in medieval dresses led by Anne Boleyn.
Cool. She sounds like a badass even after life.
She's a badass. Hever Castle, which is where she grew up. Anne's ghost is said to drift silently over the bridge that spans the River Eden on Christmas Eve. Anne's ghost has also been Anne's ghost has also been seen at Hampton Court Palace. A soldier claimed to have been confronted and challenged by a white figure that went straight through his bayonet.
Wow.
What I just found out, though, is on Christmas Eve, people go to Hever Castle and wait for her to show up.
Oh, I totally would. Isn't that where you said that you wanted to go for Christmas?
And I did not know that what they said is because of the ghost hauntings.
That is why I would want to go.
Apparently, at Hever Castle, it is the place to be in England for Christmas. 1, because of this. 2, it's very nice cottages. You can walk the hallways that Anne Boleyn walked. You can even touch the banisters that she touched. Like, to walk in the same hallways, to be in the same air, in the same rooms that she breathed.
Yeah, to touch the same exact thing that she touched. I love that idea. That's so cool.
But it's also because people go there and they wait for her ghost to show up on Christmas Eve.
I wonder if they ever see her.
Honestly, probably not. There's one account that someone took a bunch of video and they saw something coat into the camera and then the tape was destroyed, or I don't know if it was a film camera or video camera.
Well, these days you can never, these days you can never trust video or anything anymore because of AI.
Yeah, that is one place that I would love to go to. I've thought about wanting to rent 2 or 3 nights and stay there over Christmas. Oh, but it's so expensive. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I had a couple of drinks and looked it up. It's like, oh, hell no, never mind.
I don't want to go that bad.
No, not yet. Something else that's also interesting is, remember when telling you about when Catherine of Aragon died?
Huh?
She wrote a letter to Henry right before she died, like, I love you, and I really don't know what's in the letter, but she signed it, the Queen of England, Catherine of Aragon, as her last words.
Wow.
I mean, it's supposed to be an Anne Boleyn episode and hauntings and whatnot of Anne Boleyn, but I don't know. I mean, Catherine is my favorite, but they're both badasses. And this has turned into kind of an episode of justice for Catherine, justice for Anne.
Catherine was like, I just want to say goodbye, and oh, by the way, I'm still Queen of England.
How pissed off do you think Henry was with that? She got the last word of saying, I'm still Queen of England.
Yeah.
And it had been like 6 years later. Anne was only married, they were married for 3, so probably 3 years after she was forced out of her household.
What was the thing with Anne Boleyn having 6 fingers?
All right, so I got to look up that name.
Because she didn't have 6 fingers.
So apparently people thought that she was a witch because she had 6 fingers on her right hand, she had black eyes, and she had a long neck, as well as a boil under her chin and a protruding tooth. That she wore high-covering dresses to cover it, but she didn't. She wore dresses of the French fashion where they're kind of like a boxy neckline. It was Nicholas Sanders. He wrote a book called The Schism. I think that's how you say that.
How do you spell that?
Schism.
Yeah. Schism or schism.
He was very Catholic, and he was trying to give reasons on why Anne Boleyn was a witch. He pretty much made this shit up. That's all there is to it.
He just made it up.
Yeah.
Because people seriously believed that she had 6 fingers.
Yeah. And she didn't. So he made her look like she was horrid and ugly. Why would the King of England marry someone that looked like that?
Yeah, he thought she was beautiful. That's why he fell in love with her to begin with.
Yeah, so false. And it's also false that she had an affair with her brother. They were just trying to do whatever they could. At the time, Henry was excommunicated from the Pope, which means like the Catholic Church kicks you out. It's also said that the Pope tried to have Anne Boleyn executed, that he had knights or his own army that he kind of sent out in secret to have her killed, because if Anne Boleyn was killed, then England would remain Catholic and Catherine of Aragon would remain queen, and the problem just kind of goes away. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised at a lot of stuff that you've told me about this, but then again, I'm not surprised because I know how people were back then. And it was normal back then to be certain ways.
With all the lack of education that they had, the things that they bled, I mean, hell, we're in a time where they believed that bleeding or putting leeches on people would take out the toxins in your blood and heal you.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that Henry did believe that because he married his brother's wife, he was childless, but then you've got Mary sitting there. Like, hey, Dad, I'm here. What about me?
Poor little girl.
Her and Elizabeth were considered bastards, and they were out of the line of succession. They were later put back in the line of succession with his 6th wife, Catherine Parr. I also wonder, did Anne ever know that Elizabeth became one of the most powerful queens in England? And how much that she had changed.
I mean,
she was dead, but
if she's still around, she might know.
And the fact that all the things that Elizabeth did in her reign, like she brought up literacy and education from 1% to 10% in women, helped perfect the compass. But one thing that I did find out that kind of erases shit is Elizabeth sponsored the person who did the slave trade. Yeah. So Elizabeth I is kind of the reason why things happened in the United States that eventually led to the Civil War. She was the start. She was the beginning.
Well, it had to have come from somewhere.
Yeah, I was upset when I found that out today.
Yeah. Yeah, I do get upset when we start researching really old stuff like this, especially when it comes to our own family, which I will not get into right now.
No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with everything, one good thing to say about Anne Boleyn is you can now visit her grave. Since I think it was 1877, I said, she is no longer in an unmarked grave. Neither is Catherine, and they both have Queen in front of their names.
That's cool.
And a little bit of a screw you by Elizabeth I to her dad, with erasing everything of Anne Boleyn, is on her grave. She's not even in a grave. It's not a mausoleum. It's above ground in, I want to say, Westminster Palace. I'm probably wrong. Don't come after me.
Is she in like I don't even know what it's called. I want to say sarcophagus, but I don't think that's right. Like her coffin is like encased in something, but it's above ground.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of got her, like, the outline of her body on top in marble, but she has a falcon, which is, I believe it's a falcon, which is a symbol of the Boleyn family. So she's representing her mom in her death. During her reign, she tried to bring her mom back into everything in her life and don't let anyone forget her.
Cool.
So she was proud. It was, I mean, hell, my dad executed my mom when I was like 3 years old. Of course, I'm going to bring her back. I don't know. But I guess that's all I know for now. Unless we want to go for another 7 hours talking about everything that I know about the Tudor era.
Oh my gosh.
Which died with Elizabeth.
Maybe save that for another time. Well, on that note, thanks for listening.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.